So, I have a pretty open confession to make. I'm really liking the She-Hulk show so far. I think the show is pretty funny at times, even if comedy is subjective and not everyone will agree with me. I think there are points in this show that get a genuine chuckle out of me. It's not just MCU humor either. There are some bits in there that I think are just more than a quippy line that deserve a laugh. I'd show some, but I'm worried my video would get claimed. I like the semi-coherent episode format a lot. I think it's very awesome. The show has a less connected plot. It allows us to break away from the current story to do something akin to a side mission, just to find out that this little breakaway actually contributes to the main storyline. I actually wish more Disney Plus Marvel shows would realize they don't have to be another serialized TV show with one big plot crammed into 6 episodes. I would kind of prefer if most of them were like this. An origin story episode, and then a few other episodes for the main character to goof around in and solve a small 30-minute long plot. The show obviously isn't without its problems. Jen is really shitty to Bruce in the first episode because she wants to return to her normal life, but we don't really get to see why she's so desperate to return to her life. For example, and please stick with me here, in the Goofy movie, we see Max hit a social high point in his life. We see him romance the girl he likes, and now the whole school loves him. And then Goofy drags him off to go on a road trip he doesn't want to be on. Naturally, he wants to go home, and we as an audience understand why, because we have seen what he loves about being back at home. We don't get to see why Jen loves her life pre-Hulk. And I think if we got to see that in the show, and maybe watch her progress into accepting her life more as She-Hulk after finding out what she loves about being normal, it would flesh out her character more. But let's get to the She-Hulk-sized topic, the feminism. I'm going to keep my voice very monotone in this section so people don't mistake my passion for the argument as anger. People are just gonna get mad in the comments anyway, but I'm gonna try my hardest to regulate, unwarranted anger from the comments. I think some of the feminism comes off as less I really care about feminist causes and more I really want money. It feels like something an executive made them put in at times. But usually I think when the show addresses the issues it's trying to get at with character interactions instead of one-off lines, I think it does a good job and comes off as more genuine. I've seen a lot of people say a lot of things about this show, and I'm gonna cover some of the things I've heard one by one. They're trying to make her better than the Hulk. I mean, she is. Hulk's been a sissy and terribly written throughout the entirety of recent MCU. So of course, when Jen is put next to a bastardization of the strongest there is, her personality is obviously going to overpower his. He's not the Hulk you guys think he is. There have been several video essays about how the Hulk has been neutered in the MCU, and I'm gonna put some of them on screen so you understand where I'm coming from, and hopefully watch them. Hulk isn't being portrayed as worse than She-Hulk because the writers want to make Jen more appealing because she's a woman. They're just writing him accurately to how they've been writing Hulk in the MCU. Badly. Jen has to regulate her anger. Has she had it as bad as Bruce? God, no. Obviously not, and I disagree with her when she says that. She mentions that she has to regulate her anger a lot because she works around a lot of incompetent men. And it's not like this is an unsubstantiated claim either. The show opens with an incompetent man criticizing her perfectly fine closing statement for her court case. But that still doesn't change that she was really bad to Bruce in the first episode. First episode as in, there's still room for character growth. I hope when she finally accepts her hulkiness, maybe she goes back to say sorry to Bruce for being so mean to him, therefore closing her character arc. And if the show doesn't do this, yeah, I'll hold it against the quality of the show's narrative. But it's not over yet. But let's just get to the meat of it. I'm not gonna lie, if you're upset about seeing fictional men being villainized because they're doing shit that mirrors real-world societal issues, I don't see any reason other than you're upset about the show because you think it's calling you out specifically. I mean, I didn't see anyone get this angry that Thanos was being villainized for committing mass genocide and trying to kill people because there's not a large audience of killers. I personally don't do any of the shit the show calls out, therefore I have no reason to be angry because the show isn't villainizing my actions. Plus, comic book movies have been overly misogynistic for years. The second we get an overly feminist TV show, now we lose our minds. Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3 all have Mary Jane be a screaming, helpless woman at the end of the movie every time without fail. And that trilogy is hailed as gold. And it is. It is gold. Don't get me wrong. The portrayal of Sue Storm is incredibly degrading in both versions of the Fantastic Four movies, which have had a resurgence in popularity due to more Fantastic Four news coming out. Black Widow in Avengers 1 and 2 has no character other than to be sexy and try to ride the green cucumber in Hulk's pants.
I will be reinstituting Prima Nocta.
I also think everyone who is overly upset about all the feminism in this show really needs to take a deeper look at who's agreeing with them. People like Ben Shapiro, The Quartering, Matt Walsh. I mean, if the KKK was on my side in an argument, I would probably rethink whether I'm correct or not. I just think it's all really a nasty situation. Seeing the usual MCU is mediocre conversations combined with 2016 era toxicity was something that made me really want to stay out of this conversation. But I think since no one else is saying anything similar to what I'm saying, I think I have to be the one to say it. She-Hulk is slightly better than most MCU shows were in the first 5 episodes, and it still has a lot of the glaring flaws the other shows have, but it's getting a disproportionate amount of hate compared to the others. She-Hulk is definitely overhated. Hey, this outro scene was just as long as how long you would have to wait to see the Megan Thee Stallion She-Hulk twerking scene. By the way, you probably would have skipped to the next video by now. This is how long you had to wait to see it. So, if you're mad at something you had to wait this long to stumble across, I don't know what to tell you. You're just being overly angry for no reason. Okay, bye.